Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss about a very famous essay, Democracy. Although we have already read it in classrooms, so we are going to discuss about democracy again. The essay Democracy was written by S Radhakrishnan, who was the former vice president or we can say former president of India. Dr. Sarupalli Radhakrishnan, educationalist, philosopher, and statesman, was a scholar of eminence. He was a fellow of All Souls and gave land discourses on Indian philosophy at Manchester College, Oxford, and as aspiring professor of Western religion and ethics at Oxford. He rose to be the President of India. As a philosopher and a statesman, Radhakrishnan made a lasting and unique contribution to the way we think about the world and about certain philosophical and social concepts like democracy. So we start the introduction of the essay. The essay on democracy is taken from Kalki, or The Future of Civilization. This essay, written about 50 years ago, expresses doubts about the efficiency of democracy as it was the time of writing the essay. Dr. Sarpalli Radhakrishnan says that democracy is passing through a testing time. When we read the essay, we should keep in mind that the essay was written when India got independence. So it was written about 70 years ago. He says democracy is its actual working rarely permits a country to be governed by its ablest men. The general effects of democracy have not been favorable to the freedom even in Europe and America. Democracy is in its actual working is anti-democratic. There can be no political equality where there is so much economic inequality. Dr. Radhakrishnan says we must strike for some better way of conducting human affairs than the lottery of the ballot box. However, things have changed a lot after this essay was written. Democracy, in spite of its shortcoming, is proving to be a better form of government than most other systems. The Soviet Union has this integrated and is fast moving towards more and more democratic society. जब हम इस ऐसे को पढ़ते हैं तो हमारे माइंड में ये चीज़ पता होनी चाहिए कि ये ऐसे आज से 70 ईयर्स अगो के तकरीबन लिखा गया था, जब दुनिया में तमाम डेमोक्रेसीज एक तरह से नई नई बनी थी और उनमें उनके सामने उस टाइम पे किस तरह की हर्डल्स आ रही थी, किस तरह की उनके सामने परेशानियां थी, क्या प्रॉब्लम्स फेस कर रही थी, उस टाइम पे ये ऐसे लिखा गया था. हाउएवर टाइम हैज़ चेंज्ड, मैनी थिंग हैज़ चेंज्ड. तो आज के समय में और उस समय में थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है डेमोक्रेसीज में. क्योंकि ये ऐसे उस टाइम पे लिखा गया था तो हमारे माइंड में ये चीज़ पता होनी चाहिए कि ऐसे जब लिखा गया था इस टाइम पे ऐसे जो राधा कृष्णन थे उनके माइंड में क्या थी. सो वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस द मेन थॉट्स ऑफ द essay. The essay entitled Democracy is taken from Dr. Sarupalli Radhakrishnan's book Kalki, or The Future of Civilization. The book was written more than 50 years ago, or more than 50, or we can say that more than 60 years ago. And so the ideas expressed in this book should be read keeping in mind the political condition of that period. Okay? Dr. Sarupalli Radhakrishnan's ideas about democracy are, however, important even today also. We know the shortcomings of democracy as a form of government. Dr. Radhakrishnan says that democracy is passing through a testing time. डेमोक्रेसी एक तरह से टेस्टिंग टाइम में गुजर रही है. अभी डेमोक्रेसी की एक तरह से परीक्षा चल रही है कि डेमोक्रेसी सक्सेस होगी या नहीं होगी. उस टाइम की बात है. एज अ पॉलिटिकल अरेंजमेंट it is not very popular. In India, after the British rule ended, we formed a democratic government based on the votes of the people of India, men and women. The working of the democratic government, however, has not been encouraging in its actual working. Democracy rarely permits its establishment to the government of the country. कैसे? The elected representatives are themselves not independent to say and do what they think is the best for the country. Even in Europe and America, the general effects of democracy have not been favorable to the freedom of the individual. Even in these countries, fundamentalists still assault other races and cultures. In Russia and the individual has no choice. There is no liberty of action or freedom of conscience. Democracy has become confused with ignorance, lack of discipline, and vote testers. Educational facilities have increased, yet it is more difficult to get really educated. We are taught to read but not trained to think. As the mass is the most important factor, its opinion prevails over those of the thinking few. There is a tendency in all democracies to standardize thought and belief. Our mind work mechanically. The mechanization of mind is deadly to all creative enterprise. Democracy in its actual working is anti-democratic. There can be no progress in thought if we all begin to agree in our ideas. There is so much economic inequality. So long as this countries there can be no real political equality. In Russia, they are trying to establish a better social order. They think of rescuing the workers from the shackles of nationalist prejudices. They believe that until the class antagonism are settled, there can be no real democracy. Dr. Radhakrishnan ends the essay saying, the political life of a community depends on the number of independent minds. The play of thoughts and action is essential for the health of a community. This cannot be had in the present arrangement. We must strive for some better way conducting human affairs than the lottery of the battle box. So these are the thoughts of Sarpalli Radhakrishnan for democracy when. Thank you.